this is Nise. I welcome you back to my channel. This is part 2 of Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Missions on Teachers and Teaching 2015. In this video, we are going to learn the components of the mission. But before we proceed on, if you haven't watched the part 1 on the introduction of the mission, the link will be given in the description box below. So let's go ahead with the presentation. Okay, so as we see on the screen, there are 7 components of the mission. The first is schools of education. Second component is inter-university centers for teacher education. Third component is innovation awards and teaching resource grant, including workshops and seminars. The fourth component is subject networks for curriculum renewal and reform. The fifth component is National Resource Centers for Education, Higher Education Academy. And the next component is Institute of Academic Leadership and Educational Management. And then we have the last component, that is Centers of Excellence for Curriculum and Pedagogy. Okay, so again, the last component, that is Centers of Excellence for Curriculum and Pedagogy. It is again subdivided into 3 sub-components. The first is Centers of Excellence in Science and Mathematics Education. Second, Teaching Learning Centers. And the third subcomponent is Faculty Development Centers. And so we move on to the first component of the mission, that is Schools of Education. Here the mission, it proposed that 30 number of schools of education will be established in different central universities, and the school of education, it will form the main backbone for integrated teacher development across all sectors. And it also proposed that each school of education will have an international mentoring partner. Why? So that it benefits from the global or international best practices and their thinking in teacher development. The School of Education will comprise of several unit centers, and it will undertake in-depth work in specific area of elementary and secondary teacher and school education. It will also offer programs for teachers, teacher educators, and administrators. Now the objective of the component, that is Schools of Education. The first objective is to conduct various academic programs to meet the teacher requirements of elementary, secondary, and higher education. The second objective, it is to conduct research in curriculum development, pedagogy, special education, and language teaching. The third objective of the School of Education is to develop as model institution for teacher education with state-of-art facilities and human resource expertise. The fourth objective, it is to ensure integrated and intersectoral linkages across all levels of the hierarchy of teacher education. Next, we come to the second component, that is Inter-University Centers for Teachers Education, IUCTE. Here, 2 number of inter-university centers for teacher education will be established, and it will provide access for research and teaching community to the state-of-the-art equipment and also excellent library facilities. It will also play a vital role in offering the best expertise in teacher education across university. The objective of this component first is to bring about convergence among the various activities carried out by the different centers located within the schools of education in Central University. The second objective is to play a vital role in offering the best expertise in the field of teacher education to practitioners and researchers across the country. The third objective, it is to provide or promote national and international cooperation in teachers' education. The fourth is to redesign of teacher education curriculum for secondary and elementary teacher education, developing curriculum materials both offline and online, including commissioning of materials in regional languages through the specific state-based institutions such as SCERT. The last objective, it is to provide common advanced centralized facilities or service for the universities. The third component is Innovation Awards and Teaching Resource Grant, including workshops and seminars. Here, as we already know that it is a central scheme, which means that it envisages at the national, state, and institutional level to cover the entire higher education. And here to promote innovation, resource grant or financial grant is needed. It can be needed before the innovation or sometimes after the innovation, after which, in order to recognize the success on the innovation, grant or award can be given. Here the areas of innovation, it could be curriculum, pedagogy, evaluation, integration of technology, promoting inclusion of marginalized section, innovation in funding, collaboration, etc. It will also provide fundings for national and international workshops, conferences or seminars organized by center and state institutions. Now we come to the objective. The first is to promote innovation, including in teaching and learning through the resource grants to the teacher, to recognize and identify talent among the teachers and reward the teacher at the institutional, state, and national level. Now the fourth component is subject networks for curriculum renewal and reform. Here, the subject-based network, it is a voluntary association of academicians who are willing to cooperate in searching and sharing of their knowledge related to teaching, learning, and research. The objectives are, first, to create a database for all subjects in higher education. The second objective is to develop subject-related resources for teachers and professionals of higher education. The third objective is to assemble all support materials in electronic form for onward use. And then the last objective is to disseminate updated subject-wise material to the professionals. Coming to the fifth component, that is National Resource Center for Education, Higher Education Academy. Here, National Resource Center, it will be set up with the vision of developing teachers who are able to enhance their potential and push the frontiers of knowledge through research, networking, and sharing of existing resources in the competitive knowledge world. The National Resource Center for Higher Education will also provide database and identification protocol to all the teachers who are engaged in higher education. Further, it will also strengthen the capacity of faculty by providing cognitive and penumbra support of all academic initiatives. It will be an electronic depository and will provide a framework for coordination and convergence of all academic resources. As we come to the objective, the first is to create a database for all teachers in higher education. The second objective, it is to provide a unique identification number to all the teachers of higher education. The third is to assemble all support material in electronic form. And the fourth is to disseminate or distribute materials to all registered subscribers of higher education and to organize workshops, seminars, and short-term courses in higher education. The sixth component is Institute of Academic Leadership and Educational Management. In this component, institutes will be set up with the objective of imparting training of academic leaders of the vast number of institutions of higher education in the country. So here it focuses on the academic leaders in higher education. As we see the objective, the first is to involve a systematic program on the training needs of top functionaries and institutional heads, such as Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Deans, heads of postgraduate departments, and Principal and Vice Principal of colleges. Coming to the second objective, it is to provide entry-level or pre-service orientation training with a focus on requisite functional proficiency and attitude orientation. The third objective is to provide specialized area trainings in selected issues of critical relevance and especially with a view to enhancing institutional quality and innovation. The fourth objective is to create a pool of academic managers in school education. The last objective is to develop training centers for academic managers of DIETs, SERTs, and other teacher education centers or institutions. Now the last components, we have Centers of Excellence for Curriculum and Pedagogy. Here, as I've already mentioned before, there are three subcomponents. So we will briefly go through every subcomponents. The first one is Teacher Learning Center. Here, in total, 15 number of centers of excellence for curriculum pedagogy will be established. And coming to the subcomponents, from that 50, 25 number of teaching learning centers will be established. And the teaching learning center will be set up at different levels such as universities, schools, faculty department and centers and colleges. Teaching learning center will also promote on a continuous basis discipline-specific curricula, pedagogy, learning materials including e-content for use by the teachers in colleges and postgraduate departments. The second subcomponent is Faculty Development Centers. In this component, 20 numbers of faculty development centers will be set up at different levels such as academic staff colleges, university schools, faculty departments or centers and colleges. It will inculcate among teachers the motivation to promote institutional effectiveness through the development of personal, instructional, organizational and professional growth of faculty. The last subcomponent is Centers of Excellence in Science and Mathematics Education. Here, 5 numbers of Centers of Excellence in Science and Mathematics Education will be established in India Institute of Science, Homi Bhabha Science Center, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, and University Department of Science and Mathematics. Lastly, it will incubate and nurture on a continuous basis discipline-specific curricula, pedagogy, learning materials including e-content for use by the schools and colleges and postgraduate departments. With this, I conclude the video. Thank you so much for watching.